lead it by 5, matching their biggest lead. That's going to be an offensive foul.
Bolden is the guy that just fought his way to that offensive foul, and down on the other end. Look at Bolden right here in the middle. He's trying to get position on the inside, and as the ball comes inside on the jump shot, he just turns and goes to the basket. Holloway does not do a good job blocking him out, and as a result, they're able to come in and get the tip from the other side.
That foul was on Buckner, his first. 17 fouls on Ole Miss, closing in on 2 minutes to play here in the opening half. Bolden, tough fall away spinner, doesn't hit anything. Here comes Nelson out of Jackson, Mississippi.
The defense is going to make you shoot a sufficient number of tough shots. You don't have to do it yourself.
Exactly. Kendrick, not a well-advised 3.
I think that pass was intended for Pelham, and he just let it go. Great for Southern Miss there.
Watson thought about the set shot again. Here is Lachey Page. And he has it knocked away, and they're going to call an offensive charge. You know, we were talking...
Larry Eustace's asking, hey, wasn't he in that restricted area?
I was just going to say, we talked to Les Jones before about that restricted area.
And he was clearly in the restricted area. Clearly he was in that restricted area. His back foot is on the line, and the line is part of the area.
White on the drive. That's going to be a blocking foul. I want to remind you, coming up on our State Farm halftime show, we'll break down this first half between Ole Miss and Southern Miss, plus Conference USA scores, and we'll clue you in on upcoming games in conference play. Snoop White, just a freshman out of Macomb, Mississippi, sat out the first 8 games in his debut. He had 16 points and 6 of 12 shooting, but in game 2, pitched an 0 for 5. This is only his 3rd game back.
And Ole Miss, with a team that does not shoot free throws very well, has actually shot them very well today, and that's helped keep them in this game.
Only shooting on the year 58%. Final minute and 15. 3-point advantage by the Eagles. Whistle and a foul.
And that's what we talked about with that half-court offense by Southern Miss, that they are really trying to take the ball and push it inside off the dribble. And Angelo Johnson draws the foul. Now where Ole Miss is 5 for 7 from the line, and they're very happy with that. There's been 4 free throw attempts by Southern Miss. They've made them all. Okay, misses that one.
Yeah, he misses that one. Angelo 74% on the year, number 3 all-time in Southern Miss history in free throw percentage. Nice little one-on-one by Snoop White.
It's a good play by White, particularly because he had the opportunity to take the 3, but he passed that up and really went all the way to the basket. And that was not a forced play either. He saw an opening and he took it.
And here is Page, tries to go baseline, he'll float it up, no. Pelham can't come down with it, ball will belong to Ole Miss. 39.5 left in the half, so it's a forced .5 difference between the shot and the game clock.
See Andy Kennedy telling his guy that he wants 1 shot.
You mentioned a
0.5-second difference between shot clock and game clock, and they're going to try to hold it for 1.
Okay, Watson puts a little half-court pressure.
Now, even if they hold it right down to the end, 4.5 seconds is plenty of time for Southern Miss to get the ball up the court and score a basket.
White at 6'6". Watson at 5'11" out front.
Watson trying to put some pressure on it, trying to get that 5-second count.
Slips the pick, 5 to shoot. Got to give it up. Kendrick for 3. Rebound controlled by Holloway. He'll turn, shoot with 1. He buries it. Ole Miss with a 6-0 run to end the half.
One of the features we've talked about in the first half is the offensive rebounding strength of Ole Miss. And here, this is a long rebound that Holloway just pulls down, and this is a very tough shot under pressure. Not a whole lot you can do about that defensively.
And here's Larry Eustace with Jen Hildreth.
Thank you, Ron. Coach, I know that last couple too much back there. He wants Jarvis Summers and Snoop White to be the leaders in the backcourt for this team.
That's good stuff. Thanks, Jen. Jarvis Summers commits the foul. One thing, though, Dan, when he's playing that many guys' minutes get shortened. How are they going to handle that now that Kendrick has joined the team and White has joined the team?
It's always an adjustment. What you're doing as you go throughout the season. The roles grow, the roles shrink, and the guys have to adapt to it.
Johnson hit shot off the side. Rebound controlled by Murphy Holloway.
Boy, that was a bad opening possession, if you will, for Southern Miss. Johnson really forced that one, and that's something we didn't see him do very much of in the first half.
We talk a lot about being efficient on offense. That was not efficient. It's like coming out of a timeout in that story. The spin move inside won't go. Tipped around. Finally, Southern Miss comes down with it.
Buckner has missed a couple of point-blank range opportunities right around the basket. He's got 9 rebounds and blocked 3 shots. But he's got to make those close.
Get that present out from under my tree.
And that's what we just talked about with Buckner. That's now 4 blocked shots in the game for him. McGill sort of weaves his way through. What you'd like, you like that he comes over and helps out, but you'd like him to control that ball a little more rather than swat it out of bounds.
Johnson again, a lot of body contact, and you had mentioned early on in this ballgame that Larry Eustachy's squad not going to get that call. It's a physical basketball game this afternoon.
That's twice now at the start of this half that Johnson has really forced it inside, and there, Ole Miss, somebody stepped in bounds before they threw it inbound. Boy, you hate to see that.
That's 11 turnovers in the ball game for the Rebels. And Johnson looks to throw it into someone.
You're not allowed to get the ball there on the baseline, just walk in bounds with it. You have to throw it inbounds to somebody. You got to stay all the way out of bounds before you throw it in.
So there's a catch to it. Page, his jumper won't go. A lot of bodies flying everywhere. Bolden getting tied up. We've got a whistle and a foul against, I think it's Bolden. I think it's Bolden. And during that last timeout, Les Jones brought one player from both sides together and said, all right, guys, get a little physical. Let's cool it.
Said earlier in the first half, Ron, that the Ole Miss guys tend to turn and go after the rebound rather than block out. But certainly that wasn't the case that time. A great block out. I think that was by Holloway.
And Bolden now with 3 personal fouls. He has to sit down, and Mills comes back in for the Golden Eagles.
Mills really made a big contribution the first time he came in the game.
A lot faster looking offensive pace by Ole Miss. Rebound controlled by Pelham. Quickly to Page. He'll go baseline, the reverse, can't finish it.
That's a close shot, but it's not an easy shot. That was a very difficult opportunity. If you draw the defense, kick it out.
Buckner got his 10th rebound, and it ends up with a Terrence Henry basket.
Henry's been very, very strong. We mentioned that he plays more facing the basket than inside, but he has been very effective inside today.
He can really run the floor. He's kind of a do-everything guy. The lead goes to 3 for Ole Miss.
Not a lot of movement by Ole Miss right at the moment on the offensive end. I'm not sure that that's the shot they're looking for from Pelham.
It'll come down the other way.
Particularly not if everybody's just standing around.
Summers, no. The putback, no. And we've got a whistle and a foul, and that was close to Buckner landing on his head.
I think Pelham is going to pick up a foul because Buckner really does. Crashing down the lane is an excellent description. Buckner is out here, and after he sets the screen, he's going to go right to the basket. Pelham tries to block him out, just pushes him out of the way. But Buckner, we talked about his athleticism, his ability to jump.
And tomorrow, don't miss an exciting day of both men's and women's college basketball. First, the women hit the court as USC. The Trojans take on the 10th-ranked Aggies. Then the men take center stage. Virginia and Oregon. All the action tips off tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, right here. 6 points, 12 rebounds now for Buckner. That is a new season high 4 rebounds for that young man.
A little bit of a danger zone, I think, right now for Southern Miss. They've got to get their offense rolling a little bit. Got to get a good shot.
Now Mills goes with the left hand, and he gets the roll. That was close.
Well, Mills is one of those guys. He doesn't look like he's very athletic, but he really knows how to play inside. The little fakes, the little up and under moves. That was just a little hook shot up over the defense.
Averaging about 8 points a ball game. Inside, Buckner just as patient, but when he stood there with 3 gold jerseys around him, it looked like a man among boys.
Nice play by Henry to force the defense to come to him on the drive to the basket.
Johnson. Was not called, but we'll give it to him.
Doesn't matter whether it's called or not. Checked in bounds.
Here you go, 13 points now for Angelo Johnson, over his 12-point average.
Henry really putting a lot of pressure on the Southern Miss defense here in this second half. He has taken the ball and attacked the basket. That time coming off the screen, Lachey Page picks up the foul. And Henry has been a very difficult matchup, particularly early in the second half.
Well, Page, that's his second personal foul. Henry comes off and just goes right down the lane with a left hand for 2. He's got 11 in the ball game.
Exactly what we're talking about. Southern Miss now, their defense seems to have deserted them. Their best offense has been when they forced the turnovers and were able to get easy baskets. When they've had to play against the set defense, they've had a problem. And Angelo Johnson is cramping up.
Cramping up. But we've got the drive by Mills, the basket, and he'll go to the line. Angelo Johnson limps to Southern Miss's bench. But it is Terrence Henry with the 2, and right now Ole Miss leads it by 3. And the score 42-39, 15:57 left to play in the basketball game. Andy Kennedy's squad looking a little more efficient on offense.
They haven't turned the ball over, and that always helps.
Yes.
And because they haven't turned the ball over, they've been able to get the defense set.
Only 1 turnover in the second half for Andy Kennedy's squad.
And I think a big key is Andy Kennedy told us this morning that he thought his team had to win the battle of the boards, and they've won that battle decisively so far. Southern Miss is a team that gets a lot of offensive rebounds. So far, only 4 offensive rebounds for the Golden Eagles. That's a big part of their offense.
Southern Miss averages 14 offensive rebounds per game. The lead is down to 2. Mills now with 7 points in the ball game.
One of the defensive problems for Southern Miss has been Terrence Henry.
And Henry just goes right to work inside, using every bit of that 6'9" frame.
That time was a post-up move. We've seen him come off screens in the second half. We've seen him drive into the lane in the second half. He has been an offensive problem that Southern Miss simply has not been able to solve.
13 points for him from the outside. Sets up, up by Watson, but they finish it up.
Well, they may not have a lot of offensive rebounds, but that was the most impressive one we've seen. Good heavens.
And it got the crowd back into it a little bit.
Man to man.
Holloway wants it on the left block. 15 to shoot. Summers pulls the trigger. Here comes Watson. Summers stays with him, shoulder to shoulder. Watson pulls up. Rebound, Mills just fights for it. Johnson's 3. No, Mills continues to battle. And here's the last dunk.
Three-point shooting not going well in the second half for Southern Miss, but shoot the 3, you'll take the 2 that way.
Pelham just went right up the back of his teammate, Jonathan Mills.
You're allowed to go up over the back of your own guy.
Yeah.
It's the defensive guy, you can't go over his back.
Now Watson will trigger it inbounds.
Page has been quiet offensively.
Very quiet. He averages 15 points a ball game.
He's only got 4.
Watson going nowhere quickly. Cox jumps up, big stop sign, and they'll set it up again with Johnson. 10 to shoot.